Over the years, women have gradually but surely made their leadership felt in every sphere of human endeavor, from politics to business to the corporate world, even agriculture. Women have made their voices heard and have broken all traditional glass ceilings. It hasn't been easy. It still isn't very easy, but we're doing it nonetheless. On today's edition of the New Nigeria Show, I have a very special guest today, and together we'll be talking about women in leadership, the challenges, the wins, the tears and blood if necessary, and all the other things that come with it. My name is Uju Nwachukwu. I welcome you to today's episode of the New Nigeria Show. I'll be right back after the break. Like I said earlier, today's episode is pretty special because I have a very special guest in the studio. She is the Executive Managing Director at Doxa Digital Nigeria. Doxa is a full consortium of media, communications, experientials, and events. She is also an enterprise communicator, and she has been the host of The Experience Lagos 4 years and counting. Join me, welcome Mrs Dayo Benjamin Slani.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Drum rolls and applause and very sincere appreciations and congratulations to you, Uju.
Thank you.
For being such a distinctive persona in broadcasting, in communication, and in just being a lady.
Thank you. Now, coming from her, that means the world. Thank you so much for gracing our studio today.
Thank you.
All right, so today we're talking about women in leadership, and you are a typical example. You are not just Executive Managing Director at Doxa. You are not just a enterprise communicator. You are an astute master of ceremonies. You've anchored events for presidents all over the world. You have done amazingly well. You're a mom. You're an entrepreneur. Okay, let me just leave it there. Yeah, so my first question is, at any point in time in your life, did you ever doubt that you could achieve anything?
Oh, at every point in time.
At every point in time?
Yeah, at every point in time, doubts come.
Okay.
About the next thing I'm about to step into or do, whether it's an event, a project, an interview, an engagement, there will always be one thought or the other, or some sense of, like, can you do this? Must you do this? Why are you doing this? And how am I to do this? And the most important thing is, yes, we want to go and do our best to impress people, particularly people who have given us the opportunity. And so, yeah, there will always be, don't let me say there will always be doubts. Yeah. It's not so much that you doubt yourself, but yes, I've had real challenges with doubts. A few years ago, I discovered I had something I never knew existed. I thought it was just in my mind, or it's called the imposter syndrome, where women with highly qualified experiential talent and professional pedigrees, prodigies really in their own world of influence, just don't feel they are qualified for the kind of commendation, the applause, and the commentaries that follow them. And I just used to think it was me, thinking to myself, we are such a fake people, that kind. The thoughts are wicked when they're not directed at building up. It's not even about your self-worth, but just building up the pedigree and the encouragement. Encouragement is about courage. It's the courage of being who you are. The transitions from any experience to the next take courage. More so for anyone who is woman born. It takes courage. You must encourage yourself to encourage others. And it's from that place, therefore, I say that yes. I'm just as real. I think for me, my greatest collateral strength is just being real and authentic about the real and authentic experiences I have. And I've learned to communicate with an empathy, a sincerity, with integrity, and then with a certain modicum of discretion. Because I realize it's not everything you just throw out there. That is not wholesome. Even though some people feel being real means I just put it all out there. No, you don't.
Take me as I am.
A real artist of prolific, creative resource never puts everything out there. You choose what you put out there. It's like picking your colors to do a Picasso. What stroke am I going to use? A bold stroke or just a, something that kind of dusts it in feather-like? So everything, therefore, must be, I don't say so much deliberate, I say intentional, and it must be an intentional choice.
Okay. Now, these doubts, do they have anything to do with the fact that you're a woman, or you think that they're just natural doubts that everybody will have,
Well, what I would say, I like it when you say these doubts. One, I think doubt like fear, like anxiety is common to all.
Yes.
It's what you do with it or it does to you. That is the differentiation that will mark one as being distinct and one as being dead on arrival. So you've got to be able to choose your differentiation. Yeah. When the doubt comes, and we're talking about, is it about being a woman? I have left the doubt of being a woman somewhere. I can't even define where or how or when.
Okay.
When I was in secondary school, in St. Louis, in Mokola Ibadan, in Queen's College for my A-levels, coming into UI, all three in terms of places of institutional reference for my educational growth, I've always been a debater. Okay. I was a debater in St. Louis, I was a debater in Queen's College, debater at UI. And I always came out tops. Through a lot of anxiety, trepidation, fear, shaking, and all of that. It was here in Lagos that I experienced the national debates. And they used to be hosted by with all due respect, he's not my mate. When I say Tunde Kuboye, I mean the daddy Tunde Kuboye, who also was the himself and Frank Kuboye owned Jazz 38. They had the Jazz 38 club years ago in Awolowo. But Uncle Tunde, like we all call him affectionately, I'm not Auntie Dayo, can you imagine? So Uncle Tunde Kuboye was then the national debate coordinator. And that was how, on the platform of the national debates, I represented Queen's College. Okay. And we would come to the National Museum, and we would have these engagements from all across the country, Lagos State in particular, where the national debate headquarters was situated. And it was in one of those events when I just kind of mummified. I just went silent. And he said, "What happened to you?" And he said, "You know what? Nobody's expecting you to mess up." Now that was amazing, because in my head I kept hearing a voice that when I looked at people, it would be like everybody's looking at me and expecting that what a failure, what a mess up. Uncle Tunde Kuboye freed me. From that day, nobody could hold this girl. Nobody could hold this girl. I would arrange my rhetoric, I would deliver my narratives at work. It was when I got into UI I understood that the edge we had over the guys was our girly swag. And I mean, we would I'll say, let us package. I didn't know then that it would become what I didn't use the word package, but let's dress myself, Joke Morgan and Fumi Salami. I don't even know where we all are right now on the face of the earth. But I mean, we would come out and we would do these debates, and they'd never had girls in the debates ring at a serious level before in UI. And at least for 2 years before we got distracted by guys, we thumped them.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So you came to a realization that, look, nobody's out to get me. I just
chose not to be defined by gender. Somehow, I don't know where it went, but being a girl, growing into a woman, even within the industry, as you know, I'm privileged to be an MC by default, not by training, not by desire, not by any intentional purpose, nothing. I'm not in broadcast. I'm not a trained broadcaster. I don't have any of those. I don't have any training whatsoever.
Wow.
I am just gifted by God, helped by Him to to revise how I speak. And then my husband.
Okay.
My husband would always make me review what I said.
After you finish your speech or whatever it was.
You know, if he listens to me somewhere, there's a way in which you say your comportment, don't be familiar. My husband will always tell me, don't be familiar. The fact that you have an opportunity always to stand with a podium to speak, or a pulpit, if you're given that opportunity within the community of faith, doesn't make the pulpit an extension of your right or left arm.
Okay, now I have learned that one for free.
He said, stand elegantly, say what you have to say, and hold your position. My husband taught me that. Hold your position. Find the center stage. And then you tell me, don't run, don't say so many things. Just say it, and you must not say everything. So it's taken time. And it came with a lot of, what I had a challenge with was people always coming after me to condemn. You talk too much. And that kind of, that dealt with me. That hampered me somewhat. Because they started using it to attack me even in the place of getting assignments, particularly at the villa. And all of a sudden, a client will come and meet me and say, we don't want you to talk too much. The minute I hear it, I know somebody talked to you.
Okay.
The fact is, my style is not a trained style. It's organic. It's uniquely
just naturally
who I
out of
am.
you.
Yes, it's natural, but it's been honed. And in that style, right, what I do, I realize is a combination of things. I can do the continuity announcer, but much more than that and better than that. What I've learned to do is I'm a rapporteur. I moderate. I pay attention. I take notes. I learned that from the late Onwa Ikanan Daguba, as well as Henry Nzeku. I noticed that they would take notes. And when Daddy would tell me, he would say, oh, no, my daughter, why do you want to be like me? I want to be like you. How do you do what you do extempore? And I'm like, but I realized that when I took information down and I blended it with my extempore and my creative use of language, my articulations are creative. I hear and I translate. I don't try to cram, I just release myself into it. And once I learned how to do that, I just honed it and kept getting better. But people now say, oh, she's talking too much. I'm watching things at the same time because I'm into events and sequencing events and events content. I'm able to look at a room, hold my smile because my husband says, hold your position, identify that the next person supposed to speak is not around. I keep talking. And I'm waiting for them to get something. I don't just stop and say, and now, you're waiting for the next person. No. So there, I bring in a fluid continuity. But I make sure the style is not about announcing. It's about conversating. I converse. And I look at, so I'm not a comedy, but I realize I'm a humorist. I can translate a moment in humor. And how? Through candor. When you are sincere and you engage something or someone in the room, people will laugh or they'll smile because they find that I'm not trying to crack a joke. I'm just being real. And being real has its humor. Has its humor that also engages whoever in the room or is watching or listening, outside of the room on the different platforms like now. So, so I think all said and done, that's the enterprise communicator. That's the issue of doubt. So what is doubt is particular to each person based on their experiences, where they're coming from, based on what is a priority in the moment, what you're looking at and looking to. And then I think the other thing is I'm released because I don't see my emceeing as a profession. Like I said, by default, it's not something I'm doing, and maybe if I had that pressure, it would have done something differently to my style.
Wow.
But because I'm doing it like taking a walk in the park, in a sense, the right kind of park where you're not endangered, take a walk in the park. So really, the things that got me was when people say, she talks too much. But then my young son taught me something that I don't talk too much, I just love talking. And I've learned.
Very vast difference.
Yes, there's a vast difference. The other thing is be teachable. Because when people condemn you or attack your style, check your style. Maybe you've got a hem or something hanging. But once you tidy it up, ain't nobody touch your style.
Ain't nobody touching your style. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, it's still the New Nigeria Show. I still have Auntie D in the studio with me. When we come back now, we will be looking at women in leadership for real, as it concerns us here in Nigeria. Don't go away. You're welcome back. It's still the New Nigeria show, and I still have Auntie D in the studio with me. We're talking women in leadership. We know that over the years, women have had varying stages of success that we have experienced in a bit to get our voices heard, a bit to get our spots given to us, for our successes to be recognized as successes and not to be looked at as we gave you an opportunity. You know what I mean when I say we? All right. So today I'll be talking to Auntie D, and I'll be hearing her thoughts on, the challenges that women are facing when it comes to getting not just their voices heard, but getting the spots that they deserve, not because they're pitied, but because they actually deserve it. They have earned it. All right. So let's talk about leadership. What's your definition of leadership? Because some people still have difficulty. This is 2021. Still have difficulty understanding that a woman can actually lead.
Well, that difficulty really is, I would say, designed by the social culture, the mathematics, the dynamics of society around the individual. Now, from different constellar positions, wherever you are in the world, there are different references of how a woman is seen and given certain opportunities, and the issue of leadership for women is defined or designed. But like you said, today everyone understands that a woman can and a woman will lead when given the opportunity to lead, or when she is able to confidently or through some significant support emerge into that place and position of leadership. But what I believe is every woman who engages her differentiation, who sincerely comes into a mold of courageously transacting her differentiation, deliberately developing her potential, intentionally designing her presentation through communication, through talent, through her proficiency, and the opportunities of small things she does with all things in her to make it a standard of consistently applied excellence. She will, in her everyday lifestyle, show forth as a leader of her enterprise, her industry, in her community, in her family, as a mother with others. That is who she will always be. Born to lead is who a woman is born to be. That circumstances, experiences will always challenge a woman in her space. That is also life for a woman. Every woman, you, me, Uju, and Dayo, we have our story. We have reasons why we should never be sitting here. And we have other reasons why we should be 10 times further ahead than where we are right now. But due to certain instances, traumas, self-limiting beliefs, and challenges of society, and also our own personal engagements, emotionally, psychologically, near-miss circumstances, right? We find ourselves where we are. But the truth of the matter is that for leadership, the woman as a leader, and the definition of leadership is simply your differentiation in every given opportunity. Okay. That's what a true leader is. What's your differentiation? Sometimes it could simply be that you know the organ at the top, and that's what puts you there. But real leadership will come by the differentiation of your collateral, your DNA. What do you do differently, consistently enough for you to be recognized for and called out, called upon when the opportunity presents itself? Every opportunity is what translates you from the ordinary to the extraordinary. From someone who is specially recognized to an extra special recognition that sets you apart from everyone and puts you in the fore. Women right now all over the world have an incredible opportunity because we are seen as vulnerable. There's so many things, from the United Nations push to governmental advocacy to corporate social responsibility in terms of action, that puts a woman first. The tragedy of many women not getting the opportunities is that they did not prepare. They did not prepare enough.
So it's not a case of the world is finally beginning to give the woman a space, but she's not ready for it?
Well, honestly, I can't say generally. That's not even fair.
Yeah.
That's too wide. But what I'm simply saying, for you, for me, there are opportunities. There are. One, you got to find them. You got to seek. There are opportunities now for women, for you, with your own specs. You don't have to be a first-class grad from Harvard. Just who you are. You're female. You're African, you have a voice. You even have messed up in life. You have a third class or no degree, but you have a voice that tells your story with such meritocracy, with such a merit celebration of your Africanness, your femaleness, your feminineness. Even if you want, say I'm not feminine, I'm feminist, you have a place. There is a place for every woman as a voice. Right now, you can go online, open up your own online presence, and you are present. You are present at the negotiating tables. You are present at the tables of global conversations and discussions. If not you, then who? Why not? You don't have to be somebody who's following and commenting. You can become the lead commentator right now on any subject matter you choose with a poorly taken selfie or video, but you put it out there. The opportunity is here and now. I don't need a television station to have my reach. I can create my reach now. Now, the fact that I may not have the double digit, 5 digit, 6 digit, in the million digit followership may be what people say, oh, but I'm not leading. You're leading one, you're leading you. Everybody has. So for me, leadership is what you have the audacity to embrace with your differentiation in a given time, moment, or space.
Wow. And that is a lecture.
And once you can do that, you begin to do other things along with that, because your immediate responsibility is to begin to authenticate, to maximize, to enlarge your opportunity and connections through that, and others through you, to make it dynamic, to make it have that full impact, impactful expression. So that's why being experiential, being content-minded, and how you create content is what will truly drive leadership. That's why the story, the personal brand story is so profound in recreating the matrix for women in leadership, for anyone actually, but more so for women in leadership. What's your story? Everyone has a story. Whatever your story is, even if it's pate cake, or moi moi by Ayomebo, by no leftovers, you have something that makes you distinct, that makes you different. What makes Uju different in the place of your communication style, broadcasting, and all of that? What makes Dayo Benjamin's Lani distinctive in what I do? And, and all of these together become the cooking pot, do you understand, of leadership. So there are different flavors in leaders, different flavors in leadership. And everyone represents a generational, gender-rational reference. So it's one for your generation, it's another for your gender. And then for your nation, it's national. For your territorial space, your diasporal space, for that economic, socioeconomic space that you are intrinsically connected to and creating the vibe in. This is who you are. So the quality of any leader in any woman, apart from what is in you, is how you communicate it, the channel. I talked about transactional courage. Yeah. TC is very critical for any woman to fully harness, develop, train, and direct her leadership skills to kill. Once you are able to transact define what you need to transact with around you, the who, the where, the what, and your why.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with your model. Your model. We can go to as many master classes as you want to. You define your own class. Become your first student in your class. And when you can sell it to yourself, you can sell it to the world. When you can buy you, when I can buy into me, when I can trust me. See, trust yourself shaking, trust yourself trembling, trust yourself trying. It's not when it's altogether perfect, but you perfect it as you go, on the go. This is a pay as you go, perfect on the go as you go. And who is perfect at the end of it? Nobody. We keep trying, you keep correcting, you keep editing, you keep auditing till you get it. Get it with your understanding. So transactional courage is very important. The other thing I say about leadership is when you learn to package it, learn to market it, again, it takes the next step of courage. Take the next steps. Even if you fall the fall of a leader that gets up. Yeah. And so, therefore, for me, I think I've defined leadership, and the leadership for the woman is just the woman she was born to be. Don't try to be another woman in your space. Don't try to be like a man, and understand that you work. A true woman leader does not walk alone. She creates teams and alignments. A true woman leader works with men and walks with men. Works and walks. You can't allow your challenge with one man to affect and challenge you with all men.
All men. Now, talking about men, in real life,
with respect,
with respect to them, there have been situations where, because of the mindset that they have about women, maybe because of their background, that's the men now, they find it difficult to defer to a woman, maybe. So when you bring up the question of can we ever have a woman president, a female president in Nigeria, and somebody says in your dreams, because they still believe, even though they don't say it with their words, they only say it with their action, some of them still believe that a woman's place is in the home, and that's it. I don't want to say kitchen. Some people have left the kitchen now. Just the home. Be there, take care of the kids. Be a wife, be a mom. Don't aspire for too much. Because if you do, you're leaving the home front open. So what happened to the home front? So there is that mindset that kind of like limits the woman. But then in this day and age, the women want to go for everything that's achievable. They want to take it. They want to have it. They want to experience it. How do we make it work? With all of that,
Uju, let me start from, first and foremost, being the woman at home doesn't limit you.
Okay.
Everybody was home for COVID, and out of COVID came the most amazing opportunities. So women, it just teaches us, I can do more at home. I can be more from home. My kitchen top, my tabletops can be laptop positions.
Okay.
I can turn my make and bake into an experience that somebody wants to learn in Kathmandu how to make akara. And I can do that so well here. I'm not trying to patronize. What I'm simply trying to say that is nobody is condemned because they're at home.
Okay.
Think. Like I said, don't throw the box away. Think out of the box, but don't throw the box away. Mm-hmm. Now, also, you talk about the mindset of men who don't see women as being presidents. It's only in your dreams. Dreams are a great place to start because if you can dream it, you can have it. But have you really dreamt it to have it? Are you just patronizing and speaking to that illusion, but you never dreamt it? If you've dreamt it enough, you will go for it. Because it would have worked into you. It would be like a flavor that is in you. So in your dreams, great. If it's in my dreams, then I've got it. I can craft it. If you don't have it in your dreams, you can't craft it. Everything we see around us, somebody dreamt of first. Somebody saw this image of this elephant, took it from what he had seen on the safari in Serengeti.